Hello and welcome to our review of Lost via Domus for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Now before we get going, I'd like to preface this by saying that I am a big Lost fan. I've watched the show ever since the first season. I watch it pretty religiously every Thursday, if not I TiVo it. So I am caught up until this point with everything that's gone on in the show. And when they first announced this, I was, of course, excited a little bit, but more hesitant about this game, knowing how bad most video games are that are based on anything. So I figured that this game would be just as bad as most of those games, and for the most part, I think I was right. Now in the game, you play as a non-A-list member of the Lost cast. You don't play as like Locke or Jack or Hurley or anyone. You play as just a random guy who lost his memory and he's trying to recover it. And you're going to play through a lot of the same situations that you've seen in the TV show. And all your favorite characters are there, just in non-playable form. I mean, you have Hurley, Locke, Jack, Michael. Everyone you'd expect to be in the game is in the game. And although they look decently like the people they are on the show, most of them don't sound like their counterparts because only a few of the characters decided that this game was worth their while to provide voices for, and the other ones are just really bad imitations, especially Locke and Kate. Locke and Kate sound nothing like their characters on Lost, and this really takes away from the game because you're playing a game and you're expecting certain characters to sound like they are on the TV show, and they don't sound like that at all, so it's pretty frustrating. The game also has a lot of the same locations that you'd expect from a Lost TV show. It even has a jungle with a black smoke monster that you have to wander through. And all of these places are rendered fairly well. I mean, they look similar to what they look like on the TV show, but they're all very linear for one thing, and you can almost see the invisible wall stopping you from going certain places. So it's kind of like you're just wandering around this, I don't know, fake set where there's walls everywhere to stop you from going to places that you really want to go to. And barely anything is interactive, everything that you can play with lights up. So you know exactly when you can mess with something or look at something. So it's basically just for show for most of the game. And in these levels, I mean, you can even input the numbers on the computer to stop the hatch from blowing up. So the game tries to get you into this Lost mentality, and it even has flashbacks like the TV show features. And in your flashbacks, you are a photographer, so you have to try and get these things in focus in your memory to regain your memories. And these things are pretty frustrating because you really don't know what you're supposed to shoot, and you just kind of randomly zoom in and out and focus until you get the shot right. It took me 100 different shots in order to finally get it. And these memories aren't exactly revelations either. They're all pretty much stuff you've experienced from the TV show. I mean, the big reveal in this one was the fact that Locke is in a wheelchair and you saw him in a wheelchair. But this is something we know from the TV show, and I have a feeling that no one who hasn't watched the show is really going to be playing this game, so I don't know why they felt the need to do stupid stuff like this. And in between recovering pieces of your memory, the only real challenge is running from the smoke monster, trying to navigate different areas in the jungle, which is really frustrating, as well as doing this puzzle that you'll see here. It's kind of like it reminds me of the BioShock puzzle where you have to route certain fuses to get the right voltage. And it's really tedious and very annoying, and you're going to have to do this many different times, and it just seems very lazy and very tacked on, like they're like, okay, we need something to do here, so we're just going to put this puzzle in, otherwise the game's just going to kind of breeze through in about 2 hours. Now, one thing I will give the game credit for is that it does, on the surface, resemble a Lost episode. I mean, it's divided into separate sections, and each one ends with the typical Lost cliffhanger and then picks up with kind of like what happened on the last episode. So that's kind of cool, and that hasn't really been seen in a video game before. So I'll give the game credit for that. I mean, there's certain aspects that make it feel like you're actually watching a Lost episode. But the fact that you're watching a Lost episode doesn't really make the game worth playing, because this particular Lost episode is pretty much extraneous to the regular story. You're not going to learn anything new. The story is pretty poorly written. You can tell that it's not written by the same people who write the TV show. And if you're hoping to find secrets about the TV show, don't bother, because they're not in the game. Overall, I'd give Lost via Domus about a 60 out of 100, and say that it's only for super duper hardcore Lost fans, and even then, you're going to walk away disappointed. The fact that it's more of a interactive DVD with a bad story than a video game really drags it down, and the muddy graphics and repetitive gameplay don't help much either. If you want to learn more about this game and others like it, please check out the link to the right of the description to Video Game Central, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.